there is a change like all over, like topology wise. There is no inside and outside anymore. Like everything is outside. Like if you don't think that, you have to reevaluate what you're doing, because that's the norm now.
The perimeter is dead.
Yeah, in my opinion, has been for years. And you're going to see that when we do the talk later. Like, no one is doing anything wrong, but still everything goes wrong. Like, I'm doing exactly how this is intended to be implemented in all the different sort of areas of expertise, but still it's hackable. How come? How come UVA's top 10 is as part of my work now that it was 10 years ago? It's like the same thing. Okay, we shifted them around a bit in the top 10 section.
But the latest version of OWASP is just a catch-all for everything.
Yeah, okay, so it's a wild card.
I mean,
okay,
it came from being fairly specific and technical-oriented to be a catch-all for everything that could go wrong.
Okay, so then we're going backwards then, in my opinion then.
From being something that was actually a bit useful of teaching people that, okay, this is what you should focus on. Now they say, oh, let's include everything in vague categories.
Yeah, okay, so like misconfiguration, that's one vague, or ACL controls, that's really what you're
missing and logging.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, I can agree with that, yeah.
And I really don't agree with you when you said that the perimeter dead. I would say the opposite is actually more visible now than it's ever been, because you really separate what's ours, what's mine, with what's other people. But of course you have connections between those perimeters. But if you're talking like firewalls, internal networks, external services, it is very, very visible right now, and people really look at external services is one thing and internal services is another thing, even that those two have maybe more connections to each other now than they ever had.
But I think there's a difference on how, I mean, if you look for some of the more modern things on how you actually consider having, you don't really have a perimeter. If you're inside of it, you have access to everything, and if you're outside this, you don't have access to it. It's more that you actually separating and segmenting things in a different way. So that's what I mean when saying, oh, if you connect with the VPN, you have access to everything. That was the old way of saying. And if you don't, and if you, as long as we have the VPN, we are safe. That way of looking at the perimeter, I would say that one is dead.
Absolutely, agreed.
And then, like, we had a bunch of nice segmentation topologies and ideas in the domain of separation. But nowadays, we tunnel everything to web anyway. There is a RESTful API that's going to consume it, pack it down, push it through application load balancer or God forbid a WAF, and then sort of extract it at the back end, and then everything explodes. How is that? Right? That's not different by firewall standards. We had there's this awesome meme where you have a firewall. It's like a brick wall, and there's like small holes in the wall. Do you remember this one? And then you have port 80. It's like a huge tunnel. It's the same thing now. We tunnel everything through web, and that's just my opinion. Like, I do infrastructure stuff. I do more web now than I did 10 years ago. Yeah. So everything is YAML and JSON.